Everybody. So we all know that it's WrestleMania season, and this is like the last few days before the actual show of shows. But I wanted to touch on a couple subjects in regards to the climate and everything as a whole. Let me just get straight to the point. Is there's a lot of social connotation with this, like it's just a social justice warriors WrestleMania, but with the main event being the women's triple threat with Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte, which is cool. No problem with that. But I only say that because all this women empowerment and women evolution and feminism and yay, ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's being kind of forced on everybody, especially the way how they're promoting and marketing it. Like we know before, even without Charlotte Flair's name to being tied to her pops. We know who Charlotte is. We know Ronda Rousey is a household name from her success in the UFC. Becky Lynch is making herself more into into a household name. A mainstream household name, not just a wrestling fan household name. So you got that, but then you got this whole thing, which I think is taking up more than when anybody ever thought it was, and that's the Kofi Kingston storyline, and how is that gonna play out with the WWE Championship? And people have brought up WWE's reputation of not having, dark skinned, African American, dark skinned, black, whatever you want to call it, champions, at least as a top champion. Yeah, they'll give them undercard belts, whether it was the previous European title back in the Attitude Era, the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, pretty much everything but the WWE Championship, or even I'm just saying this just as a joke, but the Universal Championship. Nobody just call that damn thing the Brock belt. Now, with all of this going on, especially with the Kofi storyline, some people believe that, oh, well, yeah, we've had a black champion. The Rock was a black champion. Yes, but he didn't really acknowledge it. Even throughout the course of, during his tenure while he was a full-timer or a prominent figure, a lot of his lineage is traced to the Samoan side of the family. Yeah, we know his father was Rocky Johnson, but that's it. Like, that's the only black person in the family, as far as, at least from what has been shown in regards to The Rock. So there really hasn't been a black WWE champion. Even though The Rock want to say, yeah, I'm both. Yeah, but you never really portrayed that. You never really portrayed anything of who you was. We just knew that you was Samoan and everything. But okay, that's beside the point. Kofi Kingston is black. Like, I don't mean in terms of skin color. I don't mean in terms of skin color, skin tone, or whatever the case is. His family, even I think he was born in West Africa, in Ghana. You can't get no blacker than that. And his family moved to Boston, in which Kofi became Kofi. So it's like nobody's throughout the entire tenure of the WWE, the WWF, when you go back to WW Worldwide Wrestling Federation when it was Vince Senior, and then to World Wrestling Federation, to WWF, to WWE. There's never been a black champion, so to speak. Now we've had you can't say they're entirely racist, as they've had quote unquote minority champions in terms of they've had Hispanic or Latino champions, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio. Even in some ways, you could go into other ethnicities. The Great Khali being a world heavyweight champion, and who's Jinder Mahal, most notably being another champion of ethnic of a different ethnicity than being white, but yet and still folks who have been folks on the damn it, this is not going the way how I wanted to. the dark skinned folk the black folk on the roster never really got their just due. Like even on the women's side, you really can't say so much because you have Jackie. Sorry. You've had Jacqueline be a women's champion. You've had Jazz be a women's champion. I don't really know the whole thing, but they were still champions and they was black. But you've had it's funny, you make a black woman champion, the top champion, but you've yet to make a black man the top champion. So there's that whole thing. A lot of people playing off the storyline of how, he's had to go through all types of loop, swoop, holes, pulls, and go through the ringer. And Vince putting him through all of this and going through 2 gauntlet matches and then having his teammates go through a gauntlet match to get him in the WWE title picture. At the end of the day, there was the B+ reference. Now it's just, I'm ranting. I'm sorry I'm ranting, but it's just funny that how all of these lines is being blurred between what's story and what's reality. Vince coming out and screwing Kofi out of the belt, saying that he's a B+ player. Now, before this whole Kofi thing took off, this was originally meant for Musa, who was previously known as Mustafa Ali, just known as Ali now. And he actually had gotten pins, like clean pins, on Daniel Bryan, who was the WWE champion. And the whole Kofi storyline that's taking place now was actually written for Mustafa Ali from the first gauntlet match to the Elimination Chamber. All of that was for Mustafa Ali, and it's interesting because Mustafa Ali, if I remember correctly, is of Pakistani descent. Sorry, I'm jumbling up my words today. So that would have been interesting if, in fact, they would have put the belt on Mustafa Ali, and then they would have had a Pakistani champion. You've had I don't think they had no. Yokozuna really wasn't Japanese, but he was champion. The point is, a lot of people are really believing this storyline instead of just, believing the storyline as reality instead of just seeing it as a story that's being told. It's a little bit of both. It's kind of like these stories, even with some ways with Charlotte being in a triple threat and being handpicked by the McMahons, it's there's always a little truth in a just kidding. Kind of like how, if you saw Raw this past Monday, Stephanie McMahon came out, made an announcement about how both titles is gonna be on the line in a women's triple threat. Charlotte's women's title, Ronda's Raw women's title is gonna be on the line. And she said she was adding a 4th person to the match. She said it was her. Then, mind you, this was April Fool's. This was Monday. This was April Fool's Monday. And nobody thought that shit was funny because that's something that they would literally do. And now it's kind of whatever, but it's like, why do they do these things? Like, why have Kofi Kingston pretty much do the Daniel Bryan storyline, but with 1,000 more hurdles? For what? Like it makes no sense. Like, and if Kofi doesn't win the belt, like, people are gonna be pissed because it's not only gonna be a callback to WrestleMania 19 with Booker T and Triple H, which was despicable. By all means despicable, like, especially how that ended and there was no payoff at all. Booker says he was cool with the whole angle. I don't know, maybe because he's still with the company. It's whatever. He was comfortable with it, so I can't really say much. But it was hard to watch from a fan standpoint, from someone who has to understand the suspension of disbelief in regards to sports entertainment of wrestling, that how it ties to the moral and social construct of society today. You would expect somebody who's being mean to get their just due, like, whether it's through racism or sexism. Now you go from that to last year with Nia Jackson, Alexa Bliss doing the whole bullying thing, and it's I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's a long day. It's a long day, a very long day. Just what's gonna okay, but yeah, sorry about that. Just what is gonna happen Sunday? Everybody's expecting Kofi to be champion, to beat Bryan, even if it's only for a short time because they're supposed to be going to the Saudi show in May, but I'm hearing that it might be actually postponed. So who knows what's gonna happen with that? Just give the man the belt. Like Kofi deserves to be the champion. He's covered every accolade of your company except win the biggest title of the company and a Royal Rumble. Outside that, he's done everything else. Like there's really nothing else for Kofi to do. Like, and even I feel like once he wins the championship, like I don't even think he needs a Royal Rumble win. Like, like to be a Grand Slam, like he deserves it. Like it's been way overdue, and there's a way. This is a way to get to even build more more minority stars. I guess I hate that term because even if there's this talk about a New Day breakup, what if Kofi wins and Big E turns on Kofi to and they start feuding for the title, and then where does that leave Xavier Woods? Like, whose side is he gonna be on? Like, I see he's a great, talented in-ring worker, but out of the three, like I don't really see Xavier Woods as like a champion. Maybe just not now. I guess because of the role that he's taking and the role that he's playing. But I could see Big E and Kofi going back and forth at it. You build up new stars. You take that stigma of, okay, they're not blatantly being racist or whatever, to try and build a storyline that people could get around. Like, that would be interesting because nobody's really ever seen Big E in the main event light outside of his little NXT title run, which is like NXT's main event, not WWE's main event. But it's a lot of stuff going on. The John Oliver thing, blasting WWE about the treatment of the workers. Just it's a lot. Like this video, you know what? WrestleMania is a lot like this video. One giant mess. One giant mess that some people are gonna enjoy, some people are not gonna enjoy. But is this like the social justice WrestleMania? Like, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And we're going to see what else is going on this weekend because it's a lot. So enjoy y'all day. Y'all have a good one and see y'all later.